Good morning.
Good morning.
A tribute to Martin Luther King. On January 15, 1929, a baby was born that will become the most dynamic leader in history. Martin Luther King Jr. Over his life, he would deliver some of the most inspiring and soul-searching words. In 1960, he became the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, and said this:
The length of life, as we shall use it here, is not its longevity, its duration, not how long it lasts, but is a push, the push of life forward to achieve its personal ends and ambitions. It is the inward concern for one's own welfare. The breadth of life is the outward concern for the welfare of others. The height of life is the upward reach for God. So these are the three dimensions. On one hand, we find the individual person. On the other hand, we find other persons. At the top, we find the supreme infinite person. These three must work together. They must be concatenated in an individual life if that life is to be complete. For the complete life is the three-dimensional life.
In 1967, racial turmoil was the norm of the land. King spoke on this in his Three Evils of Society speech. King highlighted the cause of these issues.
And so the collision course is set. The people cry for freedom, and the Congress attempts to legislate repression. Millions, yes, billions, are appropriated for mass murder, but the most meager pittance for foreign aid for international development is crushed in the surge of reaction. Unemployment rages at a major depression level in the black ghettos, but the bipartisan response is an anti-riot bill rather than a serious poverty program. Ever since the birth of our nation, white America has had a schizophrenic personality on the question of race. She has been torn between selves. There has never been a solid, unified, and determined thrust to make justice a reality for Afro-Americans.
On April 4th, 1968, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the light of a great man was dimmed by the bullet of James Earl Ray. King's selfish awareness of this fate was shared on April 3rd in his mountaintop sermon.
All we say to America is, be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they hadn't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of the press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest for rights. And so, just as I say, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. We're going on. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. And I don't mind.
Well,
Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now.
well,
I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go to the mountaintop. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
well. The light may be dim, but the message and the struggle lives on. Thank you.